Welcome back to OpenLine tonight. We have Matt here, a career advisor, helping us talk about how you get a new job, how you keep your job, get promoted, get a better job, get better pay. If you've got a call now or a question, now is the time to call, because this is our last big segment. So the number's on the screen, 615-737+ is the number to call. We've already had some great questions. Let's talk about somebody's very happy at their employer, love their job, would like to make more money, would like to maybe have more responsibility.
Sure.
How do you go about doing that? Because I have found sometimes the people who are there sitting there are so overlooked.
They are, and I think, and here's why. Because I sit down with managers all the time and have these conversations. The interesting thing is about you, and you're established and you're sitting in that role. It's kind of like I also know you warts and all. Like, oh, you had a project 6 years ago and you mucked it up, and really at the end of the day, you've done a lot of good work. And sometimes, you know, I have to sit down and go, remember, the person you're going to hire off the street is not perfect. You know, so it's kind of, you know, what's that love the one you came with kind of mentality. But I also, you've got to ingratiate that conversation. I can't tell you how many folks will come to me and go, hey, I saw this job post and I really be interested in pursuing it. And it's like left field that I haven't, like, why haven't I thought about you for this job?
Right.
Well, it's because you're just head down, defined by your job, and you're doing a good job, so the company's happy to let you continue to do that. And I'll be the first to say, some company cultures, you know, they'll go, hey, well, you're really good at that. And I don't want to lose you doing that.
Yeah,
your manager's like, I can't afford to lose her. Well, that's a crap answer, in my opinion. It's unfortunate. But I mean, also I think it tends to be also, you know, females tend to be a little less aggressive. I found if they finally steel themselves to go, hey, I really want to go talk to my manager about that other job, and they prep and they spend weeks doing it, and they get shot down, they immediately retreat.
You retreat, and you're like, okay, well, I'll just go back to my cubicle over here and just do this job.
Do my thing. And guys have a totally different mentality, which is, yeah, I put my hat, put my hat in the ring, and I didn't get it. Oh well, next one up. You know, and I think that's something that females need to be mindful of, and they can drive that. But yeah, I think they need to remind, and I would hope, you know, if you're a good employee, you know, it's kind of this, the question is, you feel comfortable going to your manager. I mean, not every company is going to have that culture, but you would think, hey, I'm good at this, I'm going to sit down with my manager. And I have people who work for me, they'll sit down and we'll just go have coffee, and the entire purpose of that conversation is to talk about you. Like, this is what you're doing well, and this is what you want to do, and how do we get you there. But sometimes they have to raise their hands. I mean, I think they think their boss's job is to help them along the way. They forget their boss is probably in the same boat. Like, their boss isn't, well, have you thought about me for this, that, the other? So you got to be your own best advocate. I think that's what people forget.
One of my coworkers and I were having this conversation the other day, or not this one, but one about our bosses and our jobs, and we finally said, you know what? They think about us a lot less than we think they think about us.
That's exactly true.
Because they got a whole slew of things to do.
They do, and there are rare exceptions. I mean, I've known people that are just absolutely wonderful bosses, and everything's about them and the team, and the better the team is, the better they are, and that's a strong minority. But I mean, you got to be your own best advocate, and you would be surprised just by raising your hand. I mean, I think this is another kind of, I hate to say, you know, this is why I think that a lot of men get promoted more than women. I don't think it's a male-female thing as much as guys will say, hey, I want that job, and they're not afraid to go to their boss and go, what do I need to do to get there? And, you know, I've even seen myself, when we've hired and promoted people in the past, go, did I promote the person because they're the best person, or did I promote the person who is most aggressive about asking? And all of a sudden I am made to think about them in that role. But now's the time. There's a scarcity of labor. So employers are now worried about things like talent development. If you go look online, all of a sudden there's a bunch of jobs around talent development management. When the economy goes south, those jobs are gone. But the fact that, like, I mean, Cracker Barrel's looking for like a talent manager, and, you know, all of a sudden, it's because it's important, not because they're good people. They have to be. It's so much better to retain and develop your own people. So if you're there and you're good, you need to raise your hand, because, again, there's a window. We are in a window, and you need to take advantage of that.
All right, let's get Lee in here with the question. Lee, thank you for being with us. Go ahead with your question tonight.
I'm asking, how do you get to the employees to find a good job, to land a good job? You're going everywhere else. You're working for the temp service, and they're not going nowhere. They're giving you smaller jobs, you know, smaller wages. You know, you're 55 years old looking for a job, and they giving you some $10 jobs, $11 jobs. That's for a teenager.
So how to get that real job that you can hang on to?
So there's a couple things there. The temp service thing is an interesting, whole different thing, because part of the thing that never recovered from the economy was the proliferation of temp agencies, and the reason for that is it gives employers tend to have their core employee base that gets the work done, and then as client orders, they kind of live on the peripherals, kind of a temp agency. He's actually right. There's people who just get stuck in that grind. I've been working for a temp agency. I mean, there is a positive end to that, because typically you can get your foot in the door at an employer more quickly through a temp agency because they're hiring a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But I would ask, if you're going to go work for an employers through a temp agency, ask them what's their conversion rate. Do people come on full time? Do people get hired here full time? I mean, when Dell years and years ago first moved to Nashville, everybody was temping. The idea is you came there and worked for 6 months, and then if all those people who did awesome got converted. Well, they had a 500% turnover rate because of that, because people would go, it's a temp job, and I go find something else, and it actually hurt Dell. So I mean, I think only I would go through the temp agency is if it's a must.
Okay.
And also if there are some peripheral things like, hey, is this a real road into a real job? Because you're right, the temp agency usually takes your salary and charges anywhere from very low end 35, but more like 65% more. So that's a big number to digest.
Yeah.
So if you're making $10 an hour, the employer's probably getting charged $16 an hour for you to be out there. And wouldn't they rather pay you 14?
Right.
And so that's what happens. The other is to kind of usurp that whole process. Don't be part of the temp agency. I think where you're thinking about resources that will help you. I'm back to the Nashville Career Advancement Center over on Main Street Drive. They're all over Middle Tennessee, wherever you are. There is in Williamson County. It's called Workforce Essentials. It's got different names, but that's the old unemployment offices. But those folks have great tools, and I sit on a lot of angles with that, but they have done a wonderful job in the last 5 years or so in building relationships with employers. They're not just there to help you spruce up your resume and apply and get out the door. They will introduce you to employers. They know what employers are hiring. They'll do on-site job fairs for employers who are doing big volume. Goodwill's the same way. I live in Bellevue. Goodwill has a sign out in front of them that they ran a job fair for, I wish I could tell you right now, for some company that's hiring a bunch of people out there. And so plug in with your resources, and boy, I would think for somebody like Goodwill's not at Goodwill, they have a career services.
Right.
They will help you tremendously. Nashville Career Advancement Center, that's your tax dollars. Go use it. That's what the resources are there for. Because the Career Advancement Center, if I remember, they have a requirement to keep their funding that I think that the people they place have to have like an average of $14 or $13.50 or $15 an hour, or they don't keep their funding. Wow. That's how they're measured. So, go out there and ask those folks.
All right, Lee, good luck to you. We hope that you find the job that you have been looking for. Just real quickly, we have a minute left or so. How quick is the turnaround? Like, once somebody actually starts talking to you, sometimes this process just drags out forever before you get you're hired.
So, boy, that's a cultural thing at different employers. Because it's the economy's going fast, more and more companies have adjusted to that. But there's still places like Dave Ramsey, they'll tell you up front, at his place, it's a 3-month process. You're going to bring on site for 6 interviews. And the last interview is going to be with your spouse at dinner. I mean, that's a rarity and an extreme version, but they believe in hire slow, fire fast, which is a philosophy. But fundamentally, it is faster because as the employees, you're losing candidates. And the moment you start losing candidates for jobs you need to fill, they're going to speed up. So you're fine there. Time to fills are speeding up.
Okay. With that, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we will wrap it up with some final thoughts and final tips. So stay right where you are.